Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I think I'm live. All right, good. Sounds like you guys can hear me very well. Very good. All right. Good morning, Al, Armando, Pamela, Crazy Ivan. All right, what's going on? So the market's just opened. Currently a long to get in sync with on the YM. Heads up. That happened pretty quick. The long is at 34,576. There's a short, which we would adjust to 34,564, and that's actually triggering short. So that's the trade. Happening quickly, and maybe too quickly. Already hitting money management, I believe. Nope, missed by one tick. Nope, there it is. It did hit money management. All right, so that probably happened too quickly. If anyone's in the short, you should be at basically flat at break even. All right, so probably none of you caught any of that, so we'll just wait for the next one. This is my guess. RB needs to get updated. I haven't been on this computer in a while because I've been traveling. Good morning, Crypticon. Guru Troy. All right. Or TJ. I've been called that before. I've been called worse as well. Anyway, pound Aussie still flat. Nothing to do on that. What happened with crude this morning? That's probably too fast to grab. So crude got short here and then stopped out. So the first trade this morning on crude, unfortunately. Oops. What is going on? That's weird. All right, I don't know what happened. Huh. Seen that before. All right, while we're waiting for the crude to reload. So a get in sync short on unleaded, missed its money management, and then flipped over to long right here on the yellow trade, and now hitting targets 1, 2, and close to target 3. If anyone's in that trade, let me know. And again, like I said about crude, getting short right in here if you adjusted below the 50 moving average and then stopping out. So just missing a long trade because the proximity of the dots were not close enough to our line. We have to wait on crude. Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Miles. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. Soybeans also with some fast trading, probably too fast to handle. So waiting for the first trade. Well, I mean, you had a full 9 seconds. Probably could have grabbed it here. Still pretty fast. Barely hit a target 1. If anyone's trading soybeans, we'll take a peek at the next trade. All right, the YM getting long. 34,566. Targeting 599 and 618. And pushing pretty close to money management. Not quite there yet. Trying to get there. 595. Getting as high as 590. That's a key level. You can see where the price found resistance. So it's got to get through that 90 level. Looks like it's going to try, and it did. And it did just hit money management. So anyone in that YM trade, hitting it right on the head. Move your stop to break even. So far, very little range, a lot of up and down. You can see the V-shaped reversal right off the 200 moving average right here. So hopefully it could at least push up and hit 599 and give us a target 1. Got as high as 595, so it's got another 4 points to go. To get to our power of quitting, and there it is. So, assuming these first 2 trades were too fast, we now have a target 1 winner and almost a target 2 winner. And the stop should move now to 577 and now to 584. So that turned into a great little trade so far. I like this plan a lot with Spotlight. On soybeans, really got to keep your eye on that one. I don't know, maybe that was tradable. Anyone get in on that? Short from 1392. Wasn't watching it carefully enough because we were looking at the YM, and now the stop should be at 589. Still not quite at target 2. 618 is target 2. It got as high as 614. Morning, Roger. And the YM did just finish, stopped out. All right, unleaded gas, just off its target 3, barely. Trying to get to 1491, getting to 89, 2 ticks shy so far, and the stop should be at 1437 if anyone's in it. In it to win it. All right, soybeans getting its job done as well. Whoops. Soybeans with Counterpunch Trader. This all happened too fast. It appears there was enough time here. I'm not exactly sure because I didn't watch to see how long it hung out at the entry. Have to look at like a 15-second chart to figure it out if you weren't watching, but it did just come down and hit its targets 1 and 2 and now trailing lower. Morning, Claude. That would be a 20 range. 20 ticks. A Ninja, it would be a 20 range. Did my browser screen just go dead? I wonder what happened. That's weird. I don't know, guys. 1 second. Let me get that back up and running. Not sure why that happened. All right, hopefully you guys can see it now. That was weird. Any of you trading any, doing any Forex swing trading? Lots of winners. Yeah, Energy Futures Boot Camp coming up a week from tomorrow. Wow. Hard to believe how fast that's happening. Time flies like an arrow. Of course, fruit flies like a banana. Sorry, guys, I couldn't resist. Got this nice scalp and run plan on. Yeah, never mind. That was too fast. Both were too fast. I'm trying to see if there's any good trades to show you yet. I don't have the charts handy. Yeah, some scalp and run potential here on heating oil this morning. And on unleaded. Looks like unleaded gas did pop up and hit its target 3, and now the stop has moved a little higher. The stop says 64. I'd probably keep it at 59 just to try to stay in for a larger move. Still no setups on crude oil, no setups on pound Aussie. Soybeans continues to move lower, hitting its target 3, turning into a really great short trade there. Yeah, sure. Ron, the calc settings are, there's a few minor changes here. I actually have the stop and reverse adjustment set to true and a 4-tick adjustment. In reality, I would most likely set that to false, and I would even go so far as to use a 10-tick adjustment looking for swing levels or moving averages or some sort of chart level to adjust around if I'm trading unleaded with Spotlight. But the way this calculator is, I've got it set to 4 here. I usually like to set this to false and do the stop and reverse adjustments in my head. When you set it to true, it's going to adjust every single trade and changes the sequence of trades, when really the concept is you only want to adjust the trade you're in. So that's just a decision you need to make and, you know, figure out with your own testing what you prefer. It's one of those, you know, stylistic decisions. I don't know what the actual right answer is. And you can see I've got the blue trade from the 20 SMA turned on here, but I would also turn on, I think, the trade off the 200 EMA. Again, those are decisions you need to make and then test on your own, because there's a lot of possibilities here and I don't know what the best answer is. But this is what I've got on this chart that we've been looking at forever. The other significant adjustment is your dots to the MA proximity. The default setting is 4. I've got mine set at 8. I've got my EMA crossover filter set to 8 instead of 20. And then you could see the regular key level adjustments are basically, I don't know if that's default or not, but you can go ahead and see what I got here. All these little nuances are basically just nuances. How it changes the outcome, I think 6 over here, half a dozen over there over the long period. Not exactly sure how much the nuanced inputs or setting changes make a difference when it comes to whether you adjust one tick beyond the 5s. I've got this set to 0, where I'm not even adjusting around the 5s on entries. Or 2 ticks in front of a major key level instead of 1 tick. Does that make a big difference? I don't know. I have it set to 1 tick. So if it's a 99, it'll adjust to the 01. If you had it set to 2, if it got to the 98, it would adjust to the 01. Does that make a big difference? I don't know. Maybe. That's about it. It's not that much different than the default calculator, just a few different minor changes to accommodate the fact that they're really small ticks, basically. $4.20 a tick. By the way, crude got long on a blue 20 SMA trade, long at 69.12, targeting 69.29 to target one, a 17 tick trade, and the money management is at 69.27. If it gets to 27, stops can move to break even. Got as high as 23 so far. Definitely a pullback trade. The proximity of our exhaustion dots on that 20 SMA. Got a pretty strong leg up without much of a reaction until you get this little consolidation here, which gives us our proximity to the exhaustion dots and the trade setup. Crude oil got pretty low. It got down into the mid 60s, and now it's coming up to test 70 again from below. I don't know if you guys remember last time I was in here when crude was up in the mid 70s, and I mentioned that I thought crude was going to come down and test 70, which it did, and then went right through it a couple days ago. Yeah, it should be SX. Isn't that what I have? Yeah, I have SX. It's the sex contract. YM in another long trade, but it had already finished. The Russell's been very active. Haven't looked at that one. The Russell's produced 2 trades, both winners. Spotlight doing a good job sometimes of just staying flat, even though it looks like it misses some moves, and it does. It wants the odds stacked in its favor, and it's going to be picky. And sometimes it'll miss some moves, and then it produced 2 winners in a row. So trade plans work in mysterious ways sometimes. All right, so crude oil came up, pushed through target 1. Stops moved to break even. Remember, it lost its first trade, and this one's relatively small. Not sure this one trade will be enough. The first trade lost at least 27 ticks, maybe 28 or 29, depending on an adjustment below the 50. And this one just winning 17. So single position traders have some work to do. Multiple position traders might eke out a win on this trade if it keeps going up. Definitely got a nice, I'll show you what's happening on Catapult Energies. This is one of our, just make sure I got this set up the way it's supposed to be. I think it's wrong. Yeah, this one doesn't use the filter. Yeah, so scalp and run, hitting it out of the park right now on unleaded gas. It's all right, Roger. So here's a look at unleaded. And here's one that starts, I have to double check my notes, either at 9 or 9:05. And a lot of trades so far. So if it's, let me just double check and make sure I'm giving you the right info. I believe this is a 9:05 start time. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, so that makes a big difference with this plan for some reason. So the first trade is a break-even scalp. The second trade probably went too fast. Maybe not, but that was also a break-even. So the scalp and run, the whole idea is to get to break-even as fast as possible. And you might break even on some trades, but you're holding out for something like this. So this one happens, and you can see it hitting its, well, first of all, it's risking 23 ticks, and you're going for targets 3 and 4 if you're scalping. I mean, you could go for target 2. That's still a good R to R at 28 ticks, but the 3 and 4 is the way to go, because it typically could hit them, and you're going to make a large percentage gain just to scalp those targets with a 23 tick risk. And then, of course, the runner. And there are techniques that you can use to start trailing bar after bar. A lot just depends on one's own style. You could stay on the purple line and try to hang on for a larger move, and that could really pay off. But you could also at some X point up here, and there are ways to figure out like a maximum excursion type of thing where after a strong move you could start trailing bar after bar, which is really cool, and that'll work for a lot of people who like that sort of thing. But you have choices, you have options, but you could see pretty nice technique there. It takes multiple positions, obviously. You might have to build up to that, but 3 positions would be great if you can get a target 3, target 4, and a trailer. Even 2 positions, target 3 and a trailer maybe. This and heating oil, they're so explosive that you really want to have a position on for the runner on these scalp and run technique plans. We'll be going over this in the boot camp, of course. Yeah, I hope everyone can hear me. Crypticon, not sure if what's going on your end, but hopefully everyone else can hear me. John can hear me. Anyway, there's a sneak peek of Catapult Energies, a scalp and run plan with unleaded gas. Gotta see what I could get rid of. Alright, so crude oil still going, the stop is still holding, still no trade on pound Aussie. The Russell screaming to new daily highs. I think that's a daily high. Yep, sitting on its highs right now. Alright, thanks guys. One thing I like to look at is this Bitcoin long-term chart. If anyone's trading or following or looking for a good time to maybe buy some Bitcoin, this is a chart I like to look at. I look at the weekly and the daily, but just to give you an idea, Bitcoin is definitely in a short, not a long, using counterpunch, and looking like a head and shoulders top up in here. This, I mean, the pattern, the chart pattern is just so bearish. The left, right, the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, the breaking through the neckline, finding support on the 200 moving average, pretty much living below it though most of the time, and looking like we may get another leg down. If you look at the action move down, the reaction up into our squeeze zone with the 50 pushing down hard, subsequent action move. I mean, it may never get down here, but I don't see anything bullish on this chart other than I think you just got a bunch of traders trying to pick up Bitcoin at 30,000, maybe a little below, and that's going to maybe push the price up. Probably going to test these numbers again here, the 200 moving average or whatever. It's a real test zone when the 50 pushes down and meets the 200, but it very easily could cross over and capitulate lower. So there's certainly a lot of risk in trying to pick up some Bitcoin in here. That could change. You may not get the chance. It may go up. It could rally. Anything could happen. But the way the price pattern is showing, there's a good chance it's going to get down into this level in here, and that would be probably a good buying point. 8:30, William, on counterpunch. I believe, I don't think it starts after that. You can't always grab the trades at that time. That's the thing. So you just have to pay attention and grab the first ones you can. Anyway, I don't know if anyone has any interest in this or not, but I look at the Bitcoin futures contract to give me some guidance because it's the only chart I have where I could apply my strategies. And counterpunch is just my go-to default strategy for this kind of swing trading and being able to just kind of see what's going on. I'm looking at the weekly chart just to finish. You can see also clear head and shoulders on the weekly chart. You can see the neckline breaking, calling that short trade with the counterpunch coming down, still short, trying to get to a target 2 on the weekly. And you could see where the 200 moving averages on the weekly is down here. This is a good place to maybe think about buying, or just wait till you get a counterpunch long setup and follow the counterpunch trades to give you guidance for buying Bitcoin. Yeah, that's Chicago. It's a CBOT, Chicago Board of Trade. So Central Time. So we got the crude oil report. I'm going to close this session down in about 15 minutes, and then we'll reopen to trade crude oil during the report. Speaking of crude oil, trying to get to target 2 here. That would be good for 26 ticks. Trying to get to 38. Got to 37, missed by 1 tick. If anyone's still in there, make sure you get some profit on that position. The stop should be at 23 now. All right, guys, I'll be right back. All right, guys, sorry for the delay. Getting ready to end this session. William, I don't have my Catapult crude oil on this computer. I've been traveling a lot, and most of my work is on other computers right now, and I haven't transferred any workspaces to this one. So unfortunately, I don't have a crude chart to show you. Maybe I'll do a screenshot and put it up on the Trade Hacking Club on Discord later if I have time. I've got a pretty stacked schedule today. But if I can, I'll do that. So pound Aussie still flat. You can see crude oil going up through its fourth trade, and I just want to, fourth target, second trade. I just want to point out the power of the action, reaction, subsequent action idea, because that's what the blue trade's really good at, is putting you into a subsequent action. And you could easily see the action, right? And you can see the reaction is just this. Usually you want to see it go into the 20 SMA, but in this case it just gives you this triangle consolidation, and the 20 SMA catches up to it. There's your little continuation. That's your reaction right there. And then the dots finally get to within the proximity of the EMA, because the EMA moves up to it instead of the price moving down to the EMA. And it gives you a subsequent action move that tends to mirror the first action move. It's really what that blue trade is designed to do. And you can see it's hard to know where that reaction ends, probably right at that lowest point. It's still not quite all the way up there, but Spotlight adjusted the trade accordingly and hit a perfect target and then stopped out. Not bad. Anyway, guys, all right, so we're getting close to the crude oil session, so I'm going to end this, and as usual, just come right back in with the new session. It'll take me a few minutes to get set up for it, and I'll see you guys back in here. Please don't forget to hit the like button, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't joined the channel, make sure you subscribe. It looks like most of you are, but I don't know who's in the room. And then any questions you have, bring them to the next session that I'm about to start shortly, and I'll try to get them answered up for you. And if you don't join us for the crude oil report, I hope you enjoyed this session. Everyone have a wonderful day. And for those of you coming to that session, I'll see you in a few minutes.